Hey, welcome everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice. And America's bicentennial year, 1976, arrived not a moment too soon. The first 6 years of the 1970s have been plagued by war and recession, social unrest, political scandal. But with Richard Nixon gone and the Vietnam War finally over, the advent of 1976 seemed like a signal for the exhausted nation to relax, take a deep breath, lighten the mood, attempt to solve a collective psyche that had been battered relentlessly since John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963. That's from the book. That's from chapter 10, 1976 chapter, Big Hair and Plastic Grass. A lot of fun. It's all about the 70s baseball. I really love that opening. Beautiful. And we're playing this is the fourth game of a 5-game series here in Arlington Stadium, 1976. We're using inside pitch baseball. The Yankees lineup leading off is going to be Mickey Rivers in center field, Roy White in left field, Thurman Munson in right field, Chris Chambliss at first base in the cleanup spot. Batting fifth is Greg Nettles. Batting sixth is Fran Healy, batting the catcher for today. Batting seventh is a player that hasn't played, Bernhardt. He's playing a DH. He's a right-handed hitter. He's got no batting average because this is the first time he's playing. Sandy Alomar at second base. He's covering for the injured Willie Randolph. Shortstop Fred Stanley in the ninth spot. And on the mound for the Yankees is Doc Ellis. Doc Ellis, I think, was a tremendous pickup. They got him for very, very little, and he went 17-8 with a 3.19 ERA and 211 innings pitched. So not a strikeout guy. He struck out 65, so more of a ground ball, fly ball type guy. And based on his card, I'm seeing a lot of the majority are ground balls. Ground balls to the infield. 5 out of 6 outs on his card are ground balls. So he's a ground ball pitcher, sinker, slider type of guy, most likely. Against Steve Barr. Steve Barr with the Rangers was 2-6 with a 5.59 ERA. In 1976. Now, I know 1977, I believe he has a better year in 77. But in 76, it looks like he suffered some injuries and did not play the whole season, obviously. He had only 67 innings pitched, but I think he mounts a big comeback in 1977. We're going to get started. The way you play inside pitch baseball, it's a pitcher, batter, ballpark, triad interaction in this game. There's so many different results. It's wonderful to see that. And the way you roll 2d6 and then a d20. The 2d6, you start off with the red. Let's do that. And that's going to be the 5-column, then a white. That's going to be a 5-row. So 5-column, 5-row on the pitcher's card, and then ultimately a 1 in case we need it. We'll see what happens. So a 5-5 off Barr is going to be a K. And a 1 is definitely going to be a K off of Mickey Rivers. So Mickey Rivers down swinging. So 1 up, 1 down for the Texas Rangers. The game is underway. And I hope everybody's doing well and following the instructions of your local health department, your local governor, your local your state leaders. You're following the recommendations by the CDC. Now they're talking about wearing face masks. Stay home, keep at a distance from people, wash your hands, wipe down counters, that sort of thing. Let's keep everybody in our community and our families and our neighborhoods healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, so Roy White is batting second. Here goes. So that's going to be a 5-2. We start off on the pitcher's card. A range play. That's fun. So we're going to get to re-roll. But this time we're going to use the green die. Now, if it's high, if it's a 6, it's an automatic hit. If it's a 1, it's probably an automatic out. It's a 1, so it's going to be an automatic out regardless of what it is. A 2-3, and that's going to be a ground ball to the third baseman, Howell. Howell backhands it, long throw to first in time to get White by half a step. So it's 5-3. It's a little bit quiet. I like to take a breath. I don't like to speak through the whole streaming experience. So I'd like to take a breath. And when I do take a breath, I want a little bit of sound in the background. And let's get that not too loud, because I know people complain. They say, hey, it's too loud. It's a distraction. But if you listen to the old ball games on radio, that you always heard the crowd sound in the back. Even modern baseball, you hear the crowd in the back. So not too loud. I don't want it to drown me out. Next batter with 2 outs here in the top of the first is Thurman Munson. Now, last night we were interrupted. We had a great game going last night. The Yankees came up with 2 runs in the top of the 9th, and they came back from a 2-1 deficit and won at 3-2. We got cut off after the Yanks comeback. Sparky Lau came in and retired the side 1-2-3 for the save. The Yankees won it by a score of 3-2. That was an exciting game. I played that last night. Some guys missed it. Some guys were here. We had a nice group of guys here last night. But then somehow I lost, I'm using a new computer. I spent time cleaning out the cache in my older MacBook. I have an older MacBook. I swapped with my daughter a newer one that I had for an older one. She's in college and she needs something that works. This is definitely not college work. So I don't really need a super fast computer. All right, so let's see what goes on here. It's going to be Thurman Munson. Let's roll. That's a 1-3 off Barr, and that's a righty. It's a home run. And a home run for Munson against a lefty. Barr's a lefty is a 19. That ball's a deep drive to center field. Moats out there, and he watches it go sail over the fence for a 1-0 Yankee lead here. Thurman Munson's. Let's look and see what home run that is for Thurman Munson. Now check the box score. And the nice thing about the box score is I use Replay Baseball to keep all my stats. And the box score says that is Munson's 11th home run of the season and 54th RBI. So Thurman Munson connects here with 2 outs. And for his 11th home run of the season and a 1-0 Yankee lead off Steve Barr, the lefty. I was under the impression that Barr, for some reason, was a righty. That's a blank off Barr's card, so we're going to roll off Chris Chambliss. Chris Chambliss on the season's batting .282 with 11 home runs as well. That's a 2-4, and that's going to be a question mark 9. That may drop in. And against a lefty, it's not going to drop in. It's caught by the right fielder, 2-4. Nice running catch by Jeff Burrows out there. Read it right off the bat, and Chambliss lined it into the gap, but Burrows ran it down, and that retires the side. F9. All right, it's going to be Dave Moats. He's a left-handed hitter. He's a center fielder today. Not a very good center fielder, according to Inside Pitch. I finally was able to set up my printers. My daughter worked 3 hours tirelessly, and I offered her the money I would pay somebody to come in and do that. I didn't have the patience for that. I needed to be at meetings and so on, so I couldn't do that. So I paid her for that, and she did a great job. She hooked up all my 5 or 6 computers around the house wirelessly, and plus I'm part of Insta Ink, which monitors my ink levels on my printer, and once they start getting low, they immediately send out my ink. And once I pop that in, then that's when they start charging me. I'm paying $9 a month, but I can make it $4 or $3 depending on how much I use my printer. All right, so it's going to be Dave Moats against Doc Ellis. That's a 1-6er. That's going to be a blank, so we're looking off Moats' card. Moats batted .241. That's a 5-2, and that's a comebacker to Ellis. Ellis up with it and over to Chambliss, and that's out number 1. Gene Kleins. Pitch from Ellis. 3-6. There's a potential strikeout, and the 13 will not be a strikeout, so we're rolling off Kleins. Oh. It's a 2-2, and that's going to be line base hit. So Kleins goes the opposite way for a single. 1-out single for Kleins. Does he get threat to steal? Perhaps. Let's roll that and see what happens. Oh, he does get the lead, so he's going to be going. He's an 11. He's a 12 actually. Oh, and then I got to check my catcher is Healy, and Healy is a -2, so that 11 becomes a 12, it becomes a 10, and we roll a 14 and he's out. So Kleins gets thrown out, and that's going to be 2-6. So there's 2 outs now. Probably won't run with Kleins anymore. 2-2. That's going to be a potential strikeout. The human rain delay takes forever to get in the box. And that's a 9 against a righty. And at Arlington Stadium, it's a +1. So that 8 becomes a 9. And we roll a 9. That's strike 3. Hargrove down swinging, and that retires the side. Greg Nettles leading off the top of the second against Steve Barr, lefty versus lefty, 5-2. It's a range play. Again, we pull out our green die, and I gave you an idea. 6 is an automatic hit, 1 is an automatic out, and then in between, depending on the fielder. So that's going to be a 3-2 off an Ellis card, and that's versus a lefty. That's a deep fly ball to center field. Now the question is, will he catch it? Because it's a range play, and the center fielder is a 2. That's lower than a 4, so that's going to drop in there. Now, can Nettles stretch this into a double is the question. We're going to roll. If we roll a 5 or a 6, it's going to be a double, and we roll a 2, so no. Nettles goes back to first base. So Nettles is on with a leadoff single. One of the elite third basemen of the late 70s. Greg Nettles, power-hitting third baseman who could really pick it at third base. And it's Fran Healy. Fran Healy is a modern-day Yankee announcer. 4-6, and that's a walk plus. So whatever it is against a lefty, the walk is a 10. It becomes a 20. We roll an 18. There's no modifier at the park. And that's ball 4. So the first 2 batters are on here in the top of the second. And now it's Juan Bernhardt. He's a 190 batter, had 21 at-bats. You get every player with inside pitch baseball. That's a 6-6. That's going to be a potential error. Let's see what happens here. It's a 1-1. It's a single to center field. So it's line shot that drops in front of Moats. Now, he may juggle it or bobble it, or it may hit off the heel of his glove. Let's see. It's an 18. And in center field, he is a 2, so it's not. It's above the error rating, so it will not be an error, but it is a single. And with Nettles at second, let's see, Moats doesn't have much. Oh, it's a minus. He's got a decent arm. It's a -1. Oh boy, what did I do with my here are my rules. I didn't put them too far away. So let's take a quick peek at what happens here. Single to center. He's going to be a +2. Nettles, I believe, is a 3 running. He's a 2 base runner, so he becomes a 4, but then a -1. So it's a 3. And with nobody out, we're going to hold up. We're going to hold up Nettles. Third base coach puts up the stop sign for Greg Nettles, and the bases are loaded for the Yanks. So Bernhardt is batting 1,000. This is his first appearance in 1976, game 85. Now the Yanks, let me tell you a little bit about the Yanks. They're 44-40. They're in second place in the AL East, and they're led by Billy Martin. Frank Lucchesi is the leader of the manager for the Texas Rangers, who are 38-47 at this point in 1976 in our replay. Replay Baseball is my computer and my PC game, which replays the whole season for me. So I have all the stats for everybody, and it's fascinating to see, to be able to play games with all the stats. This is something that when I was a kid, man, I dreamed of having all the stats done for me. I hated to take a lot of time doing stats. It wasn't fun for me. I know some guys like to do it. It wasn't fun for me. All right, so Sandy Alomar. Sandy Alomar is a switch hitter. He's filling in for the injured Willie Randolph. So Barr looks in for the sign. The infield for the Rangers is back right now with nobody out on the bases loaded. They're just trying to get the double play. Randall and Toby Hara, Hara's at short and Randall's at second. They're halfway. It's a 41. That's going to be a potential K, but a 19 is very, very high, and that will be outside of the Alomar K range. Here's the pitch. That's a 3-2, and that's a ground ball to the first baseman. This may turn into a double play. We have to check. Hargrove. Okay, so it's going to be there are no bonuses for the second baseman. Hara has a -1, and Randall has a -2. Holy smokes, that's -3. So they're not very good at all. They're terrible. So then we're not even going to have an opportunity for it's going to be 0 because Alomar is a 1 for a double play, and Barr is a +1. So that would make it a 2. And then we get a 3 for halfway, but then we get a -3 for the terrible middle infielders that the Rangers have. Rangers have an awful defense. Take a look at this defense on the Texas Rangers, and it's truly awful. Except for a couple of players out there like Gene Kleins, who's a decent left fielder, and Jim Sundberg, who's a decent catcher. This team is a defensive nightmare. Speaking about the Texas Rangers. So Alomar grounds out to Hargrove, and a run's going to score on that. And you know what? We may be able to get the fielder's choice at second base. So let's see if we can do that. We're going to roll. And if the Bernhardt, let's see how fast he runs. He is a 2, so it's probably not. It's a 3. So the roll is higher than the runner speed. If the runner can outrun the die roll, then he makes it to the bag. He did not make it to the bag. So it's going to be a Hargrove to Hara fielder's choice. So it's a 3-6 fielder's choice. A run's going to score for the Yanks. And there's one out with runners on first and third. Now this changes the situation just a little bit defensively, and now I'm going to bring the infield in because I don't want another run to score here. 2-0 deficit. It's still early. I don't want to make it 3-0. We have at least one out now, so I feel a little bit more secure that this won't become a very, very long inning. So let's do that. We're going to bring the infield in. We're trying to stop the run from going home. And it's Fred Chicken Stanley. It's a 44 off Barr. That's going to be a range play. So again, we roll with the green 6-sided die. Range for the field for the green grass. That's how I do it. So Fred Stanley is going to hit one now. That's a pretty low number, so it's probably going to be caught. A 3-2 is a question mark 7. The left fielder is Klein, so that's definitely he's above his fielding ability is above the number rolled, so he's going to be able to track that down. Now it may become a sacrifice fly. Stanley's a 0. I'm not going to attempt to score Healy on this fly ball, so it's just a straight up fly to left, shallow left, and nobody comes in on that. And now there's 2 outs, so that was a huge out for Steve Barr. Score is 2-0 Yankees. We're in the top of the second. This is somewhat of a plodding game so far. It started off a little bit slow. Yesterday's game was much, much quicker. I was in the 8th inning, and it was about 30 minutes into the game. Hey there, Amish Ellis, excuse me. Number 1. Good overnight, CP. Thank you, sir. I started a little bit later than I like. I get a little bit of a bigger crowd when I kind of play in more normal hours. I wanted to start at 11, but I had to do some things. My daughter was hanging around with me, so I started talking to her, and I made some chili for my son. And then I put this off until now. I'm ready to roll now, so I'll probably be up. I slept from about 7 to 10:30, 7 to 11. I went out for a short walk with my dog, and I came back and I set everything up. I cleaned everything up. I cut up some cards. I'm printing out a couple of seasons now. I have Insta Ink. So I have all the print, all the all the printing I want here at home. So, all right. So it's Mickey Rivers with runners on first and third. There's 2 outs. So the infield is just regular 6-1. And off Barr, that's going to be a strikeout. That better be really low because Mickey Rivers, he is a contact hitter. And a 9 is not going to do it. With the +1, the 7 becomes an 8, and the 9 is above that. So there's no strikeout. So we're going to roll off Rivers' card. And it's a 3-2, and that's going to be chopped to third. Howell's going to charge it. He's going to throw on the run, and gets Rivers by half a step. And Rivers doesn't agree. It's a 5-3 put out, and he's talking to his first base coach, and first base coach is kind of ignoring him, telling him, go back to the bench. You're out. And Doc Ellis on the mound for the Yankees, bottom of the second. Against Jeff Burrows. He's a power hitter. The Rangers have 2 power hitters on this team. I didn't go over the batting lineup for the Rangers. It's Most leading off in center field, Kleins in left field, Hargrove at first base batting third. The cleanup batter is Burrows. Batting fifth is Howell, the third baseman. Batting sixth is Toby Harrow, the shortstop. The DH is Tom Grieve. He's the other power hitter for the Rangers. Second baseman is Lenny Randle, and Jim Sundberg is the catcher batting ninth. So we rolled a 5-5 off Doc Ellis's card, and that's going to be a range play. So again, an easy way to interpret this is a 6 is an out, a 1 is a hit. No, I'm sorry, a 1 is an out, a 6 is a hit, and then in between you're going to have to check the fielders. So that's in between. But the Yankees have really good defense, so that's probably going to be an out, but it always depends on who it's hit to. So it's a 2-1 off Burrows' card. A 2-1 is a fly ball to right field. Munson's out there, and he is not a very good right fielder, and that's going to drop in front of Munson. And that may be a double. Let's see. If we roll a 5 or a 6, it is going to be a double, and it's not. So Munson lets it drop in. It falls in front of him, and he plays it and gets it in quickly to Alomar to keep Burrows to a single. All right, Doc Ellis, 2-5. That's a blank, so that means we roll off Roy Howell's card. Roy Howell's a lefty. Terrible third baseman. He's a 1. That's as bad as you can be. 16 error rating. 1 to 16 on a roll of 20 commits an error. This is a 6-3, and a 6-3 is a Starline 5, which is a chopper to second. Alomar is going to potentially try for the double play. We're going to see what happens here. The double play rating for Howell is a 2. There's nothing on Ellis. The infield is halfway, so that's a 3. It is hit to, who did I say was hit to? A 6-3. It is hit to the second baseman, so I get no pluses today. Fred Stanley's not a plus, so I need a 3 for a double play, 3 or less. And it's a 6. There's only one play, and that's the first. So Alomar whips it over to Chambliss, and moving to second base on that ball in the hole is Jeff Burrows. So 1 out, runner on second, and it's Toby Harrow. Toby Harrow was one of my favorite players. I always thought he had speed, and he had power. He was never really a great player, but I always thought he was kind of a cool player. 3-5. Always rooted for him to get a hit. 3-5 is a potential walk, and a 6 against a righty is a walk. He has a very high walk rating. Holy smokes. 16 and 19. That's very high. So that's ball 4. So runners on first and second now for Tom Grieve. Now, Tom Grieve has good power. Hit 20 home runs, and that's good power for 1976. You don't see a lot of guys with 20 home runs and above. I mean, Chambliss and Munson both had 17 and 18 home runs. You know, there's every so often on the team you'll get a big home run hitter, like a 32 home run guy like Nettles on the Yankees. All right, Doc Ellis looks in for the sign against Tom Grieve. There's 1 out, runners on first and second. Burrows is at second base, and Harris at first base. They take their lead. There's a pitch. Sets and deals, 6-6. That's going to be a potential walk, and a 7, maybe a walk. Let's see what happens with Grieve. And no, he has a low walk rating versus righty. So that ball is a strike, and we're going to roll off of Grieve, 1-4, and that's chopped to short. See if Fred Chicken Stanley can turn this into a double play. We're a 3, we're a 4. If we get a 4 here, this is going to be a double play, and we're out of the inning. No, there's only one play. Chicken Stanley kind of bobbled the ball, and he was going to go to second. He changed his mind. Harrow was already there with good speed, so he's going to throw across the diamond and gets Grieve a 6-3 put out, and it's second and third now. Lenny Randle batted .224. He had a much better year with the Mets the following year. Or was it 77? No, 77 or 78. He batted .300 with the Mets. In our replay, he's batting .289, so not having a bad season in our replay. So Doc Ellis runners on second and third against Lenny Randle. Now, what happens if we walk Lenny Randle? I don't know that we want to do that. Really. I mean, he's batting from the left side, but the next batter is a .228 batter. This is a .224 batter, so we're not going to walk him. We're going to pitch him. See what happens. 6-5. And that's against a righty. He's batting lefty. Would be a K against a righty, but against a lefty, it's a blank. So it seems that Ellis is a little bit better versus righties than lefties on his card. Here's Lenny Randall, a 4-6, and that's going to be a fly ball, line to center field. Rivers racing in, and shoestring catch, Mickey Rivers. Nice sliding catch by Mick the Quick, who really turned on the Jets at the last minute to catch up to that ball, that sinking liner. And that retires the side. Great catch by Mick the Quick, who's actually rated very highly by Inside Pitch for 1976. And it's going to be Roy White leading off against Steve Barr, the lefty, in the top of the third. 2-3. And he's batting righty. So versus a righty, it's a star line. Star line what? Star line 5, and that's chopped to first. Hargrove is going to race White to the bag, and he gets there. Just got there to beat White. All right, here's a pitch from Barr to Munson. Thurman Munson, the 1976 AL MVP. Finished the season with over 100 RBIs and a 3.02 average. 6'4". 6'4" is versus a right is a star line, so that's a good thing for a pitcher. A 1 is, that's ripped to second base. Munson goes the opposite way, but right at Randall. Randall scoops it, whips it to first, and makes the play. 4-3. Hit it hard. But right at the second baseman, Len Randall. Next is Steve Barr, lefty versus lefty. Chris Chambliss. Chris Chambliss having a good season, batting .281 with 11 home runs for the Yankees. 2 outs, top of the third. Here's the pitch. It's a 4-3 off of Barr, and that's going to be versus a lefty. It's a walk plus. And it's going to be a 15. We roll a 20. So, no, that ball is a strike. So the count is 2-1 now. Or 3-1, rather. And Chris Chambliss off his card. 3-4. And that's going to be line to center field. And that's going to drop in there for a base hit. So Chambliss on with a 2-out single. Frozen rope to center right in front of Moats. Steve Barr versus Greg Nettles. It's a 6-2. It's a potential error on the ground. And let me show you how this, if you roll really high, it's probably not an error. If you roll really low, that's pretty high. Right? So that's probably not going to be an error, but we still don't know for sure because there's some players, if it's hit to third, that's an error. 6-2. He's terrible. 6-2. And wait a second. This versus a lefty is a fly ball, deep right field. Back goes Burrows to the track and makes the catch. And a 15 is definitely not going to be an error against Burrows. He's a 2. And that ends the inning. Fly to right. All right. Jimmy Sundberg. Doc Ellis, 1-4. Star line. Go yellow. 1. And that's a chopper to second. Waiting for it is Alomar over to first. One away. I'm using the APA map, play map. APA was my first game as a kid, and I'm doing it for nostalgia reasons. But I'm playing Inside Pitch, not APA. I do play APA. I have some cards lying around. I play APA. I played most of the games. I wish I could play them all simultaneously. All right. And it's Ellis to Moats. Dave Moats, 6'5". Versus a lefty, it's a blank. Going to roll off Moats, a 2-4, and that's a fly ball. Pop to center. Sky to center. Rivers settles under it, waits. Puts it away, and that's 2 outs. Gene Clines. Clines had a single in the first inning, batting .257. That's a 1-6er, and that's a blank, so we're rolling off Clines, a right-handed hitter, a 5-1, and that's a fly ball right field. Thurman Munson, he's there, makes the catch, and that's 3 of 3 down. We go top of the fourth. Healy. 2-2 is wild, so that's foul back. Souvenir for a lucky fan, a 2-5, and that's a range play in the ballpark. It's a little bit different. We bring out the ballpark card. So Arlington Stadium, we'll see what happens here. That's a low, so that's probably caught. It's a low roll there on that green. That's the range die because it represents green for the field. What the fielder does, what his capabilities are. It's a 3-6. 3-6 is chopped to third, and that is actually going to be a base hit because, as I said, Howell is a nightmare, and he's a 1 at third base. That roll beats him for a hit. Now, it may be a double. If we roll a 5 or a 6, it's a double down the line, and it is. So Healy pulls one, fair, and that's going to roll into the corner. Gene Kleins is after it, gets it in quickly, and Fran Healy is in there with a leadoff double. Next is Juan Bernhardt. I want to take a quick sip. A little water out of my Mets cup. The score is 2-0 Yankees. We're in the top of the fourth. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Yankees. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors for the Texas Rangers. We are playing in Arlington, Texas. I can visualize Arlington, Texas in 1976, and I can guarantee that they had stagecoaches roaming the area. The Pony Express was still in fashion. Anyway, all right, Bernhardt. And that's a 1-1. That's going to be a blank off the lefty Barr. Let's see what he does here. He's 6-2, and that's a fly to right. Burrows gets under that and makes the catch. Easy out. Gets it in quickly. Healy's back to second, excuse me. Fran Healy at second base, 1 out, and it's Sandy Alomar. He's a switch hitter batting righty. That's a 2-4, and that's a potential home run. Versus a lefty, he's a 6. And we rolled a 3. That's a deep drive he's batting righty, a deep drive to left field. Gene Kleins back to the track, to the wall, looks up, and that's gone. 4-0 Yankees. Sandy Alomar showing off his muscles and drives one over the left field fence to give the Yankees a 4-2 lead. Now, that's Sandy Alomar's first home run of the year. And his RBIs 3 and 4 for the season. This game was played on Saturday, the 17th of July, 1976. This is the bicentennial year for baseball. Great year to replay. Easy to replay because there's not a lot of changes. The lineups pretty much remain the same from day to day. When there's a change, you really notice it. Pitching is usually pitchers go, they're 8 innings. You don't have a lot of relievers. You don't have to make a lot of changes. You can just enjoy the flow of the game, Classic game. You can do hit and run, lots of steals. They're still stealing bases in 76. Fred Chicken Stanley. Pitch from Barr, 1-5er. And that's a double question mark. We're going to look at the 9. Double question mark versus a righty. And a 9 just beats the 1-8. So we're going to roll off Chicken Stanley's card. Chicken Stanley, how's he doing on the season? He's batting .215. 4-4, not much of a hitter, and he flies that one to left. Gene Kleins is out there. He's a pretty above-average outfielder. He makes that catch easily for out number 2. And that turns over the lineup. We go to the top of the lineup. Mick the Quick, Mickey Rivers, is having an outstanding season. In reality, I believe he batted .312 and was in the top 10 for batting average in 1976. In our replays, batting .334. He's really been in somewhat of a slump over the last 10 games. So here's Steve Barr, and we're going to double check Steve Barr's batters faced. He's got 18, so he's got 2 more, and then he becomes fatigued. All right, so that's going to be a 6-4, and versus a lefty, that's a blank. So we're going to roll off of Rivers' card. That's a 5-6, and that's a fly ball. Shallow center, racing in his Kleins. He makes the catch, and that retires the side. Go to the bottom of the fourth, 4-0. Bombers. Hargrove leading it off. He's followed by Burrows and then Howell. Doc Ellis, what a pickup for the 76 Yanks. Got him for nothing. 6-1. That's a potential hit by pitch. And a 6 or less will be a hit by pitch, but we roll a 20. So we're rolling off Hargrove, the human rain delay, snake eyes, and that's line, base hit center field. So right back up the middle, and Hargrove is on with a leadoff single. Jeff Burrows now. Jeff Burrows hit 18 home runs. That's a power hitter for 1976, my friends. 3-1, that's a blank. Off the pitcher, now we look at the batter's card, a 6-4, and versus a righty, that's going to be a ground ball through the left side for a base hit, and Hargrove is going to stop at second. So back-to-back singles to lead off the bottom of the fourth, and it's Roy Howell. Here's the pitch to Howell. It's a 2-4. That's a blank, so we're rolling off Howell's card. That's a 2-1, and that's a ground ball and through the right side. And this is going to, I believe, is going to score Hargrove on this one. Let's see. Let's check for Hargrove's speed. A 2-1 is a ground ball that's through the right side, past the outstretched glove of Sandy Alomar, who isn't considered a very good second baseman at all. Isn't rated very well. So he's going to become an S4 with a runner on second. A 2 or better will score, and he does score. And Burrows at first base. First to third would be a 3 or better. Let's see what Burrows is. Burrows is a 2, so he's going to stop at second. So it's an RBI single for Roy Howell, who ends up in the I went blank on the. I'll think about it. So it's a single base hit. I got to go back. I got to erase real quick. I got to hit the single plus. One click takes care of business on when you use Replay Baseball. I use the Replay Baseball PC game. Now, they don't have some every season, especially the 80 seasons. They don't have a lot of 80 seasons. So if you want 80 seasons, I use Strat. But this is a much more user-friendly interface. One click, you deal with most situations, whereas with Stratomatic, you have to click at least 4, 5, 6 times to get what you want done. All right, so Toby Harrah comes up with runners on first and third. It's a 4-1 Yankee lead right now. Doc Ellis. The middle infield is in halfway. They're looking for the double play. Here's the pitch. That's a 3-5, and that's a potential walk, but a 20 is not going to be a walk, although Harrah has a 16 and a 19. The 20 is higher than that, so we're rolling off Harrah's card, a 2-3, and that's a star line 1. It's a ground ball to the second baseman. We're going to hold Burrows at this point. Burrows is not a fast runner, plus it's a -2, so we're going to hold Burrows. Usually with nobody out, it's an automatic hold in my home rules. I make exceptions sometimes. So it's going to be we may be able to get a fielder's choice out of this. Let's see who's running at first base. Howell and his speed. Howell is a 2 as well. So we'll roll a blue, and that's a 1. So he beats the throw. Well, he's not going to get – he's going to basically beat the roll, so he makes it to second base. So it's going to be a 4-3 put out. That moves up. Got it. Again, I got to race. I got to go to detail because this one is a single where nobody advances. So it's going to be a 4-3 put out. Again, that's wrong. So it's going to be so it's detail. It's a single. 4-3. Batter is out. Right a second. Okay, there we go. Again, I have to redo it again. I don't know why he is scoring on this. He shouldn't score on this. I see what I have to do. Okay. He doesn't advance. My runner does not advance. That's why I'm in detail. So let's do a single. Let's do a 4-3. Runner is out at first base. He holds. I can't get him to hold for some reason. Let me get out of here. A second. Hold on a second. Let me get out. I don't want Burrows to score. So let me see if I mess around here and I click on a few things and the game resets itself. Let me go into detail. Let me push a single. Usually this holds up all runners. For some reason, it's scoring the runner automatically. And I don't like that. So far, we got a single, single, single. And this one is going to be a 2-3 off of Hara, which is a star line 1, which is a ground ball to second. What do we say? It was a 1. Wait a second. We can go for a double play here. Because the infield is definitely not in. They're halfway for a double play. So I got to try. I don't know why my brain shut down a little bit. So it's a ground ball to it's a 3 double play. So the ground ball is to the 2-3. The ground ball is to the second baseman. So that's a potential double play. I rolled a 1 on this, so it's definitely a double play, and a run's going to score. It's a 4-6-3 double play. I'm going to get out of here, and that's going to score a run. And that was strange. There's 2 outs now. And next batter is Tommy Grieve. All right, Doc Ellis to Grieve. It's a Snake Eyes. That's going to be a ballpark card. We're going to look at the ballpark card for Grieve. That's a 1-6er, and that's a single. And there goes Grieve trying to stretch it into a double. Anything but a 6. Oh, and he's thrown out at second base. So that's a 1-6. It's line base hit to left. And Grieve, for some reason, it's bobbled out there and dropped by White. White picks it up quickly and fires a BB to Alomar at second, and they call Grieve out at second base. So it's a single and out at second. So that ends the inning. Holy smokes. So it's a single, and then it's a 7 assist to the second baseman, 2. Batter is out at second. And let's see. Again, this is a tricky one here. 7-4, and that's it. Batter's out. It's a single, and he's thrown out at second. That retires the side. So it was something exciting. So Tom Grieve is not really happy with himself, and neither is Lucchese, the Texas Ranger manager. Roy White in the top of the 5th. And it's a 6-4. We're looking off Steve Barr, still in the game. He's down to his last couple of batters. I can check the box score on it. Basically, Ellis has faced 16, and Barr has faced 19. He can face 20. So he can go still another batter, and he's going to try to get through this inning. I'm going to try to, even fatigued, I'm going to try to get him through this inning. We'll see what happens. That's a 6-4, and that's going to be a star line. Versus a righty, which is good for a pitcher. A 2 is chopped to third, and Howell waits back and now charges it, fires to first, and gets White by half a step. 5-3. So Roy White is out. Next is Thurman Munson. Munson on the season batting .314 with 11 home runs. Pitch from Barr. He's fatigued now. This is his 20th batter. He can go 20. 3-5, or he can actually, if this is his 20th batter, he can go Munson. Yeah, batters face 20. So he's completed his 20. This is his 21st batter, so he's fatigued now. I'm going to try to get him through this inning, and then we'll bring somebody else to replace him next inning. It's a 3-5. A 3-5 is a blank, so we're rolling off Thurman Munson's card. The way you play inside pitch is you read the red first as the column, and then the 2 as the row. So this is 2-2, and this is ripped to the third baseman, Howell. Nice play by Howell. Long throw to first, and in time to get Thurman Munson. Chris Chambliss. It's a 4-1. That's a potential strikeout, but the 13 is a little bit high. It's a 12 on Chambliss. Just missed it, and that's foul back. A souvenir for a lucky fan. And that's a 6-5. We're looking off Chambliss's card, and that's line and caught by Hara at shortstop. Timed his leap perfectly and robbed Chris Chambliss of a base hit single. All right, we go to the bottom of the fifth. Now the game started moving along just a little bit. We got to look at the Texas Rangers cards. See who we're going to bring into. Oh, we can bring in Jeff Turpko and Mike Basic, or Basic, I think it is. All right, I never heard of those guys, but that's fine. Here goes Len Randall leading off against Doc Ellis. Doc Ellis still has a way to go. He can face 28 batters. He's faced 20. Pitch to Lenny Randall. That's a 5-3, and that's a potential walk of 1. Is ball 4. And Ellis was not happy with that call. He wanted a strike on that. Puffing and puffing a little bit out there on the mound, but he's known for his antics. Doc Ellis is very a kind of a free spirit, if you will, a baseball free spirit. Tells stories of dropping some acid and then going to a baseball game and playing ball under the influence. So he had a wild side to him. Doc Ellis versus Jim Sundberg with Randall on at first. We're going to try to get a lead with Randall, see what we can do there. And that's not going to be it. Well, 5 may be it. Let's see what happens there. That is it. 5 is it. 5 makes it. I know I juggled it a little bit, but it was kind of leaning over. So we're going to roll now for the space. It's a 13, and it's a -2 for Healy. Healy's got a really good arm. It's a -2, so 13 becomes an 11, but then a +1 is a 12. We roll a 5, and the throw is not in time. So Lenny Randall steals second just like that. Single and a stolen base, and the Rangers have a runner in scoring position. It's a 4-2 ball game. And you know what? I have an issue with that now. A 4-2 ball game. The second run scored. That's right, on the double play. All right, and that's a 6-5 off Ellis. That's going to be a potential K versus a righty, and the 10 is strike 3, and Jim Sundberg goes down swinging. Big K for Doc Ellis. Doc Ellis is not a strikeout pitcher. He's a ground ball pitcher, sinker, slider type pitcher. Moats. He's a tricky Doc versus a tricky Dick. It's a tricky Doc. Dave Moats, 241 batter, had 137 at-bats and played in 85 games, basically half the season. No power at all, had no home runs, 6 stolen bases. Here's the pitch. That's a 5-5 off of Ellis, and that's going to be a range play. That's when we call in our green die, our range die. If it's a 6, it's a hit. If it's a 1, it's an out. And it's a 6, so that's going to be a base hit of some kind off Moses' card, a 3-6. That's a ground ball through the left side and into played by Roy White. And Lenny Randall may score. Randall's pretty quick, so we're going to take a quick look at Randall's speed. Went to the wrong place. As usual, been doing that today. He's a 3 and an S6. He's going to have to be second to home. And Roy White's arm is a -1. Oh, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it. They're going to stop him at third. So it's a base hit. But Randall kind of had to wait. He was afraid of getting thrown out of third base, so he hesitated, and he had to stop at third. So it's first and third now with Gene Clines at the plate. Gene Clines in the replays batting .256. Tying runs are on base now. 1 out. Pitch declines. That's a 6-4, and that's wild. A wild 1, and that's a wild pitch. That scores Lenny Randall. Wild pitch moves the tying run to second base now with only 1 out. And Moats, what kind of speed does Moats have? He has decent speed. He's a 3 base runner. I call it speed, but it's more base running ability. I should call it what it is rather than just say speed, because it's not really speed. Base running ability more than anything. All right. So here's the pitch to Gene Klein's. Tying run is at second base. 2-3. I really don't want the Yankees to lose this game, but that's a 2-3. That's ball 4. I believe it's ball 4. Let's see what happens. No, it's not. Not ball 4. We're going to have to roll off of Klein's card. See what happens here. That's a 3-6er, and against a righty, that's a ground ball and through the left side for a base hit. Another seeing eye base hit. And I think the Rangers have specialized in that today. A lot of ground balls for base hits. Now, Moats has to be a 3. He's only a 2. He's not going to be able to score again. So runners on first and third with only 1 out. Now the Yankees are going to have to bring the infield in. Now it gets exciting. Mike Hargrove against Doc Ellis. That's a 3-5, and that's a potential walk. A 2 is ball 4. Holy smokes. So Doc Ellis cannot catch a break. So all the rolls are going in the favor, in the Rangers' favor right now. Bases are loaded. Doc Ellis is on the verge of being fatigued. Doc Ellis only faced 21 batters. Holy smokes, that's it? He can still face another 7 batters. He's struggling a little bit here, but I'm hoping he can kind of work his way through this. Don't want to pull. Don't want to be Captain Hook. It's 4-3. Bases are loaded, 1 out. Infield is in for the Yanks, for sure. And that's a 2-2, and that's a potential strikeout. That's exactly what we need. And he blows one by Jeff Burrows. Huge second out. And Doc Ellis reaches back for a little extra to get himself out of this crisis, to help himself out of this crisis, because he's not out of it yet. Bases are loaded. Hargrove's at first. Klein's is at second. Moats is at third. And it's going to be the lefty, Roy Howell, facing Doc Ellis. Doc Ellis has allowed 3 runs, 8 hits so far in this game. But he's on the verge of giving up the Yankee 4-3 lead. So it's going to take an error or a base hit here, a walk or a hit by pitch. And any one of those things will force in the tying run. So this is where the game gets exciting. So Doc Ellis looks in for the sign. And here's the pitch. That's a 1-5, and that's not what Doc Ellis wanted. That's not what Doc Ellis wanted, and that's more on the 9 side. That's going to be a 9. So a 1-5 is actually terrible for Doc Ellis. It's a walk plus, and a walk plus means you add 10 points to whatever it says on the batter. Roy, that makes it a 14 on Howell. So a 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, or 20 would have been no walk. But this 9, that's why I was hoping it would pop over to the 19, which is right next to the 9. But no, this is ball 4. And that walks in the tying run. Bases are loaded for Toby Harrop. It's a long inning for Doc Ellis, but Doc Ellis is still under his batter's face limit. But we got to check this other limit. Hold on. He's allowed 8 and 4. That's 12. He's out. Doc Ellis is done. He's done. There's 2 limits there. 1 balls, hits, runs, and walks. And he's past the 12. So we're going to pull him. That's exactly why they have that rating there. And let's quickly look at the Yanks. Let me look at the Yanks on the other computer, because yesterday I messed with the computer that I'm streaming on, and I lost the stream. So I have a few computers around me that I can use, so I don't have to touch what I'm doing. I don't have to change windows and search stuff, and I can just have it open. So this is going to take a split second. Yanks are out comes Billy Martin, and that's it for Doc Ellis. There's a couple of pitchers warming up in the bullpen. Not totally sure who they are. Let me double check to see if Tidrow is available. Tidrow is available. Okay, so we're going to bring in Dick Tidrow. He's the type of guy that thrives in this situation. He had an amazing season for the Yanks in 1976. I think his ERA was 2.24. Dick Tidrow. He's going to come in to replace Doc Ellis in a tie game with the bases loaded. He's going to face Toby Harrah. Toby Harrah's season in 1976, he batted .260 with 15 home runs. All right, so here's the pitch from Tidrow, who had a 4-5 record with a .263 ERA. That's 65 strikeouts in 92 innings. So that's a 2-3, and that's going to be a potential K, and an 8 will be a. Oh no, it's not a K. Toby Harrah is a contact hitter. Holy smokes! Okay, so a 2-3. Let me double check that. Now it's a K, but it's higher than the K on Toby Harrah's card. So that means that we're rolling off of Harrah. Another opportunity for the Rangers to take the lead here in the bottom of the fifth. It's a 4-4 game. Yankees led this 4-0. It's a 3-5, and that's going to be lined. And caught by Tidrow. Oh, self-defense, but what a catch. Dick Tidrow, can't believe it. Ended up lying on his back. Fell back on his tush after that, after kind of leaning away from that line drive off the bat of Toby Harrah, and that ends the inning. That was scary, exciting. So an L1, and the side is retired, but the game is tied at 4 apiece. Yanks have 4 runs, 6 hits, no errors, against the Rangers 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Top of the 6th is going to bring up Craig Nettles. You're also going to see Fran Healy and Juan Bernhardt. And Steve Barr is basically going to get replaced now by Jeff Turpko. There's a lefty. Who's it coming in? Lefty, righty. All right, lefty, righty, and who else do we say? Lefty, righty, righty. So we're going to bring in a righty for this situation. And that's going to be Jeff Turpko's coming in. All right, Jeff Turpko, let's learn a little bit about him. He was 3-3 with a 2.39 ERA and 52 innings pitched. Going to face Greg Nettles. Here's the pitch. And that's a 1-5er, and that's going to be a potential walk, a 6 against a righty. Is ball 4, and Nettles walks. Nettles is a 2 attempt, and we used that 6 already. We're going to try to roll for a steal attempt for Nettles. He's a 13. Plus 1 of 14, but the catcher, Sundberg, is a -1. We'll see what happens. Nope. All right, so Nettles can't get the jump that he wants to take off, and it's going to be Fran Healy. I'm going to try hit and run. I play hit and runs very simple, very straight up. Line drives are automatic double plays. Any grounder is basically allows the runner to advance. Basically, those are the 2 main things. And you take an extra base on any base hit. 5-5. And a K, that's not good. A potential K, if he strikes out, then the runner may get thrown out. It's a 9 against Fran Healy. And that's going to be strike 3, a swing and a miss. And Nettles was on the go. And we're going to have to roll for Nettles. Now, one thing that has to be adjusted, and I'm going to talk about that on the forum, is that when there's a swing and a miss, I think the stolen base rating should be half, because there's not one game that doesn't create a penalty for a runner who's stealing on a hit and run, who ends up having to steal the base on a hit and run, because you don't really get a good lead. You're just running, and you may not be really a good base stealer, so you're just going. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a temporary rule that halves the base running. This base running is going to be a -1 and a +1 off the pitcher and the catcher. That's going to make it a 7. We'll round up. So we'll make it a 7 and a 5-5 with a strikeout. We use that. And now we're going to roll. It's going to need a 7 or less for the stolen base. Otherwise, he's thrown out. And that's going to be 2-4. And he's out at second base. So it's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Healy strikes out, and Nettles is caught stealing. That was 2-4. And there's 2 outs now. So I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to talk about why that hasn't been done. Or maybe it has been, and I'm just unfamiliar with the rule. Jeff Turpko against Juan Bernhardt. That's a 3-2, and that's a righty. It's a potential K, and a 9 will be a K. Strike 3, and that retires the side. Go to the bottom of the 6th. Dick Tidrow. 1-4, and that's a double question mark. 19 is beyond the double question mark range. We go to Tommy Grieve, power hitting DH today, and that's a line base hit to left field past the diving Nettles. So Grieve is on with a leadoff single. Next is Lenny Randle. We'll try to bunt with Lenny Randle. Oh, it's a 7. That's a good bunt. And who's a 2? It's back to the pitcher. It's a sacrifice. A 1-4, if you will. That puts Grieve, who's not a real speed merchant. Let's take a look at his. Probably a 3. He is a 3, so it's a kind of average base running ability. So he'll be able to do something. He'll be able to score from there on a base hit. Jim Sundberg against Dick Tidrow. Let's see, a 2-6. That's a blank, so we're rolling off Sundberg. That's a 4-2, and that's, that ball is lined into the gap, and that's going to roll to the wall. Scoring easily with the go-ahead run now is Tommy Grieve, and into second base with an RBI one-out double is the catcher, Jim Sundberg. Sonny Sundberg connects with that one, drives it into the gap, and that splits Rivers and White. Rolls to the wall, Rivers retrieves, gets it into Stanley, and it keeps Sundberg at second base. It's 5-4 now. So at one point, the Rangers were down by 4-0, and they've been able to come back and overtake the Yankees by a score of 5-4. Here in the bottom of the 6th, Dave Moats, the lefty, against Tidrow. That's a 4-5. Yankees have been having terrible luck. 4-5 is going to be you're going to roll off of the batter's card now, 3-1, and that's a star line 2. That's a ground ball to third base. I just want to make sure it's not a 6 because he would make it to third on the 6. He does not. Nettles fires the first, 5-3. No advance. And it's Gene Climbs. 2 outs. It's a 2-6 off of Tidrow, and that's a blank, so we're rolling off of Gene Climb's card. A 3-5, and that's base hit to right. And that is most likely going to score. Going to roll 2d6. And most likely is going to score Sundberg, who's not very fast at all. He's only a 1, I believe. But with 2 outs, that's a 2. And a single to right means a single to right, second to home is another +1. So that's a 3. So we're going to try to score Sundberg, see what happens. And no, he's out at the plate. The throw, the relay from Alomar, and they throw out Sundberg at the plate. And that's a 6. So it says a 5 thrown out the plate. So it's a 9-4 Munson to Alomar to Healy. And that's a single. And the runner is out at home. And it's a 9-4-2. Let's see how I do that. 9-2. Field put out the 90 for the base running outs. Okay, so we need just 1 out. A single. 9-2. Batter out at home. Okay. I did it. Done. All right. So Sandy Alomar leading it off. That was exciting. Didn't expect that to happen. All right, so it's going to be Sandy Alomar leading it off against Turpco. 3-4. 3-4. That's a range play at the ballpark, so that's going to be interesting. Range play at the ballpark for Alomar. Going to bring in that green die. Remember, a 6 is a hit, automatic hit. A 1 is an automatic out. Anything in between, it may be a hit depending on the fielder. 2-2. And that's a ground ball. Another in front of the plate. Sundberg is an excellent fielder. He's a 5, so he's going to get to that. It's going to be a 2-3 putout. Now, the 2-3 putouts in this game are very realistic. Unlike the constant 2-3 putouts that the old classic Status Pro had on its fast action cards. Used to get like 3 of those a game for each team. I'm exaggerating just a little bit, but not all that much. But since then, the advanced version of Status Pro, which I really love, has adjusted that, has fixed that with the new fast action cards. All right, so it's Fred Stanley. You know what? We're going to bring in a pinch hitter. Yanks going to bring in a pinch hitter. It's going to be probably Carlos May, perhaps. Let's see if we can find Carlos May. He's in the back end here, Carlos May, and then we're going to have a new shortstop. So Carlos May comes in to pinch hit. All right, and here's the pitch to Carlos Turco to May. That's a 4-6. 4-6 is a walk plus. That's what you want. That's ball 4. So Carlos May shows some patience and gets on base. That's what the Yankees need, is a base runner. He's a decent base runner. He's a 3, category 3. So let me bring out Mason and put him over the pitcher's card. That way I won't forget to bring him in. All right, where are we at? We're in the top of the 7th. It's a 5-4 Texas lead. The Yanks have a runner at first. There's only 1 out. Mick the Quick, Rivers, going to try he doesn't strike out very much. Going to try a hit and run. Get Carlos May on the move. This is my second. I'll keep it to 2 hit and runs per game. Never anymore. That's a 3-2. A 3-2 is a potential. He's batting lefty. Oh, that's going to be some sort of an out. Starline out. And that's a 2. And that's going to be a fly ball center field for out number 2. Cruising under it is Moats. And now with 2 outs, it's Roy White. Carlos May back to first. Here's the pitch. It's a 4-1. And that's a range play. Range play may benefit White. We use that green die again. We're looking at 6 as a hit, and we want that. We don't get the hit, but it still could be a hit. 4-4, depends. 4-4 is a star line fly ball to center. The center fielder is horrible and misreads the flight of the ball, the angle of the ball, and doesn't get to it. And that's going to drop in for a single. And that may be a double if we get a 5 or a 6, and it is, and stretching it into a double, and that may score Carlos May from first base. So Carlos Mays is a 3, a double to center. This is going to be exciting. We may have a play at the plate or maybe not. So it's going to be a double to center field. That's going to be a +1. There's 2 outs, so that's another +1. So that makes Carlos May a 5. If he were a 6, that would be an automatic. But the center fielder, Moats, is actually a -1, so that's going to bring him down to a 4. So we're looking for on the roll, the following roll, we're looking for a 4 or less to score the tying run, Carlos May, from first base on this double, this 2-out double by Roy White. Let's see what happens. So there's going to be a play at the plate, the relay to Hara, and the throw, and he is safe. Under the tag, the game is tied. So Roy White comes up huge, clutch, and drives in the tying run with 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. So Carlos May really turned on the Jets. I haven't seen him move that fast all season. All right, Thurman Munson against Turco. Turco's faced, Turco can face 7, and Turco has faced 7, so he's going to be fatigued for this batter, but I'm not moving. You don't have big bullpens back then, so you can't just bring guys in and out. 6-2, and that's going to be a blank, so we're rolling off Munson's card. Munson is always, just throw that. 3-4, and that's going to be a question mark 8, and an 18 versus a righty is going to be caught by the center fielder Moats, driving the gap and running it down as Moats. and that retires the side. But the Yanks come back and they tie it up. All right, it's going to be Hargrove leading it off, and that reminds me, Mason is on top of my pitcher card, and that reminds me to put him in. Jim Mason is going to play at shortstop now. So that's done, and we'll pop him into the Yankee lineup as well. Really, really love inside pitch. Really love inside pitch. Really like, there's it's not just you roll and you know what happens. No, you roll and it tells you, and there's so much detail and depth and nuance to this game. It's really fun. And once you get to know it, once you get accustomed to how it flows really super fast. Now this game is got 18 hits and 10 runs. It's got a bunch of walks. So it's slowed down a little bit, but you can get through these games. Yesterday I was getting through the game in about 33 minutes. All right, Mike Hargrove's leading off against Dick Tidrow. Let's see where Dick Tidrow's at with the batters faced. Dick Tidrow is a 6, and he can go 7, so he's going to be fatigued for a couple of batters. We'll see what happens. He can face this one, the next one, then he'll be fatigued for the third one. So that's a 3-3, and that's a potential error. See, we're going to have to roll high on that D20 to avoid the error. And we roll a 6. Uh-oh, that's trouble. Depends if it's to an outfielder. 5-3, and 5-3 and a 6. We're using that for something else right now. So a 5-3 is a question mark 8 against a righty, and a 6 is going to fall in there for a single. And this may be an error, I believe. And no, there's no error out there. Okay, so it's a single. So Hargrove is on at first. Next is Jeff Burrows. And that's again foul back. At least that one. 6-5. 6-5 is a blank. We're rolling off Burrows. It's a 5-5 ball game here in the bottom of the 7th. 4-6, and that's a hard hit ground ball right at Mason. You may be able to turn 2 on this. It's a 3 plus a 4. And does Alomar, we lose any points with Alomar at second base? No. All right, so we want a 4 or less for the double play. Oh, and there's one play, and that's the long throw to first. So Mason in the hole, backhands it, long throw to first, in time. Moving over to second with the go-ahead run is Mike Hargrove. That's the only goal we didn't want. All right. Roy Howell, lefty. Dick Tidrow. This is his third batter, so he's fatigued now. That's a 5-1. That's going to be a ballpark card. Look at Arlington. See what happens. Arlington has a lot of hits, 2-4. And that's going to be a star line 2, which is chopped to third. Nettles looks Hargrove back and gets the out at first. 2 outs. 5-3, ground out. And next is, how that happened? Let's see. All right, Toby Harrah with the go-ahead run at second base against Dick Tidrow, who's fatigued now. It looks like he's tired, but I'm trying to get him through this inning. 2-1. 2-1 is a righty. That's a potential walk, and a 1 is ball 4. So first and second against Tommy Grieve. Tommy Grieve is the power-hitting outfielder for the Texas Rangers. He's a DH today, I believe. Let's double-check that. He is the DH today. Batted .255, hit 20 home runs. It's a lot of home runs for 1976. Dick Tidrow is looking tired. He's going to face one last batter. Hopefully he can get him. And that's a 1-6, and that's a ballpark result. Again, not good for the Yanks. Ballpark, you don't want that ballpark. And here's Arlington, 6-5. And that's popped up behind the plate. In foul ground near the stands, Healy throws with his mask away and leans into the crowd and makes the catch. Great catch by Fran Healy. And that is the third out. It's going to be a pop 2 or an F out, foul out 2. And Tidrow gets out of that potential crises. And it's Chris Chambliss leading off against Jeff Turco. Turco, I think, is fatigued, and now we can pull Turco. I think he's gone long enough. Turco has given us, or given the Rangers, 2 innings, 2 complete innings. Not too shabby. And we're going to bring in one other pitcher that we know of that pitches in this series. Then we have to look after this guy, and he can go a while. He's 11, so we're going to let him go for a while. His name is Mike Basic, or Bassick, B-A-C-S-I. It's probably Bassick, because if it were just a K, it would be Back, Mike Back. So Bassick. And here he comes. He's a righty. But that's what we're bringing in here. That's all we're bringing in right now. I'm going to take a look at my other computer. No, it's in the pot. It's in the pot. All right, I'm going to try to set up my other computer with the schedule. All right, so Chris Chambliss is leading off in the top of the 8th inning. He's a lefty, and then it's followed by Greg Nettles. And we're going to bring up Google Chrome is what I use to search for my schedules. 1976 schedule. Once I get that up there, I'll be good. Now I can get back to the game. This will just take a second. Stand by for station identification. This is your favorite channel for tabletop baseball. Late night tabletop baseball. This is the Late Show, broadcasting from San Antonio, Texas. '76 Yankees schedule. Why are you not coming up? Why are you doing something? Did I not? Yankees schedule. Yankees schedule. Where's my baseball reference? There it is. It was the first one, so I just kind of mentally bypassed it. All right, some of these computers are really old, but that one works really well. It's 10 years old and it works fine. All right, so Chris Chambliss leading it off. Let's go against Mike Bassick. That's a 5-5 off Bassick, and that's a potential. No, that's a blank. So we're going off to Chambliss. Chambliss is a decent card, 2-2, and that's ripped to second base. And Randall guns it to first, and that's a out number 1, 4-3. Next is Craig Nettles. Good power hitting third baseman, 3-2, one of the best in the league. 3-2 is going to be a ballpark opportunity. What did I do with the ballpark? I don't know what I did with it. Maybe in here. Sometimes I use it, I turn it over onto the deck. Let's see if I dropped it in here. There it is. All right, so it's a ballpark opportunity and a 3-2. Yep, that's what it is. Greg Nettles versus Mike Bassick. 1-4. And that's a Starline 5, which is grounded to short. Harrow waits back, now charges. Throws on the run and gets Nettles. 2 outs. Fran Healy is next. 2 outs, top of the 8th. It's all tied at 5. 3-3. It's a blank, so we're looking off Healy. Healy doesn't have any power at all. Hit no home run, 6-3. And that's chopped to first. Hargrove waiting for Bassick to show up and flips to Bassick, and that's a 3-1 put out. Retires the side, 3 up, 3 down. We get a new pitcher for the Yanks. New pitcher for the Yanks now. And this is, I believe, game 85 is what I said. The Saturday game, July 17th, 1976. And who pitches for the Yanks in this game? The actual score of this game was Yankees 7, Rangers 5. Grant Jackson's going to come in. Grant Jackson. Replacing Dick Tidrow. I'll tell you what Tidrow did in a second. Oh, yeah, the Yankees have 3 guys in the bullpen. That's it. So you can't mess around too much. Dick Tidrow, well, how did he do? He went. He gave us 2.1 innings, so we're going to expect at least a while for Jackson. Jackson can go 8 batters faced. So hopefully he can get some outs so he can stay in there for a couple innings, 2 or 3 innings. A 5-5 game. It's a 3-6 off of Jackson's card. A 3-6 is a potential K, and a 4 is a strike 3. Lenny Randall down on strikes for out number 1. Next is Jimmy Sundberg, Sonny Sundberg. Snake Eyes is a potential K, and an 11 against a lefty is a K. Strike 3, back-to-back Ks by Grant Jackson. Grant Jackson had a 2.54 ERA, 7-1 record, so he had a heck of a season for the Yankees in '76. Now it's Dave Moats, lefty on lefty, 1-4, and that's a potential walk at 10. It won't be a walk, not against 4-6 off of Moats' card is chopped to second. Alomar charges, barehands, it throws over to first and gets Moats, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down for Grant Jackson. Next is Juan Bernhardt. Let's see if the Yankees brought any pinch hitters. Bernhardt played the whole game. They actually brought in Carlos May the same way I did, in that same spot. That's interesting. The actual game. All right, here's Bassick to Juan Bernhardt. That's a 5-2, and that's a potential tired single, but he's definitely not tired. So it's batter card 2-2, and that's line base hit to left. So Bernhardt had 190. His average was 190, and he's gotten 2 hits here in this game. So that's already definitely way above the 190 average that he had. And let's double check that. 2-2 is a single to left. Bernhardt has absolutely no speed, so he'll be moving station to station right now. Sandy Alomar will just swing away. That's a 1-6er. That's a blank. Let's see what happens off Alomar's card. And that's a 2-4, and that's ground ball to shortstop. This they're -3 or -2. -2. And Alomar is a 1, and then another -1, so there's no chance for a double play. Let's see if they can get the runner at second, and they do. So it's a fielder's choice. It's a 6-4 fielder's choice for the first out. Alomar's at first, and we'd rather have him at first. We're going to try to see if we can get a lead. +2, so that attempt is a 10. Anything less than a 10, and it's a 12. Just believe that. Anyway. All right, so he doesn't get the lead, and now it's Jimmy Mason. Jimmy Mason's batting. He's not much of a hitter. In our replay batting, 141. In reality, he batted 180. May get a hit here. You never know. 4-4. And a righty. He's a lefty, so it's going to be a blank. So we're rolling off Jimmy Mason's card. Let's see what happens. 3-5, and that's a fly ball right field. Right there's Burrows. Settles under it. Squeezes it. For out number 2. We're in the top of the 9th inning, tied at 5. Pretty good ball game, guys. I know it's going extra innings here. It's going it's a long broadcast. You may have to watch the rest of it tomorrow if you can't hang on. Mickey Rivers now with Alomar on at first base. And I'm not sure if I can try for each batter to try to steal for each batter. But I got to find out about that. I got to write that down. See if I can remember. The 2 things I want to do, so I'm going to write that down real quick. 2 things I want to do. Want to ask. And I know one of them is can you attempt to steal on each batter? Steal. Attempt on each batter. And the other question was one that I discussed at the beginning, and it was, oh man, I can't remember now. Oh, darn it. It was an important question I wanted to bring up. About on hit and runs. K on a hit and run. The guys, why are we not modifying a negative modifier like for the stolen base? Hit and run, SB modifier. Those are two things I'm going to bring up and kind of initiate I'm sure, an interesting discussion. All right, so Mickey Rivers. That's a 6.5. A 6.5 is blank. And 5.6, Mick with a good card, but no, this is lifted to left. And Gene Clines is there. Makes the catch, and that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Grant Jackson, Gene Clines. It's a 3-2. 3-2 is a potential K. A 3 is strike 3. Grant Jackson with his third strikeout of this appearance. And it's the human Wrangle at 1-4. That's a potential walk. A 19 versus a lefty is a walk. Ball 4. And he does have a high walk ratio. Mike Hargrove does. Down at first. Next is Jeff Burrows, 4-3. And versus a righty, that's a potential walk. And a niner versus a lefty is ball 4. So back-to-back walks puts the winning run at second base, and it's Howell now. So 1-6, and a lefty is a blank, so we're rolling off of Howell. The winning run is at second base, and Hargrove is only one out here in the bottom of the ninth. It's a 3-1, and that's flying to left field. Roy White catches it chest high, and that's 2 outs. And now it's the righty, Toby Harrah. Pitch from Jackson, 1-1 snake eyes, a potential K, and an 8 is not a strikeout. Just beat the strikeout by 1 point. So we're rolling off Harrah. This could be potentially the game right here. It could be a walk-off game winner. 5-3, and that's line center field racing in his Rivers, and he gets there, makes the catch, and that's a third out. Now, I thought that was going to drop in there for a second. That's a second great catch in center field on one of those sinking liners. The first one was a sliding catch by Rivers in center. Rivers has got he's rated very highly by inside pitch in center field. I guess if you're a World Series team, you have to have good defense. And that's how they get you to make sure that you kind of have a good winning record. The Yankees on our replay are only 44-40. So they're about, I'd say 8 games, have 8 losses more than they had in reality at this point. Roy White's going to be leading off versus Mike Basic. Or Bassick. That's a 5-1, and that's a blank, so we're rolling off Roy White. Roy White's a switch hitter. He's batting lefty against the righty Bassick. 4-2, and that's popped up right side. Hargrove in foul territory, back into fair territory. Randall right next to him, and no, Hargrove makes the catch. Randall came over at the last minute. I don't know what he was thinking, but Hargrove had that all the way. Thurman Munson, 1 out, top of the 10th. Free baseball, boys, free baseball. Free crisis, national crisis baseball on your CP Cards and Dice channel. 4-1, and that's a potential walk. 17 won't be a walk. So Munson with 1 out. 4-5, and that's line base hit to left. Munson frozen rope to Gene Clines, who plays it on a hop and gets it into Toby Harrah. Howell at third, Harrah at short, Randall at second, and Hargrove at first for the infield. Sundberg behind the plate. Munson is on at first. We're going to try to get a lead for Munson. Oh, and he does get a lead. And Munson has good base running ability. He's on 11. There's a +2 for Bassick. I keep on messing that up. There's a +2, so that makes it a 13. There's a -1 for Sundberg, makes it a 12. And he steals a base. So Munson, a 1-out stolen base, putting the go-ahead run at second for Chris Chambliss, the ever-dangerous Chris Chambliss. And let's look and see what stolen base that is for Munson on the season. Munson stolen base number 6 on the season. And in reality, Munson stole 11 bases, so he's right where he should be. So Chris Chambliss is going to, you know what? They're going to face Chris Chambliss. They're going to pitch against Chris Chambliss. Here's the pitch. It's a 2-4. And that's a hit by pitch, a potential hit by pitch. And it's a 9, it's 11, so there's no hit by pitch. We're rolling off Chambliss's card. A 6-5 is lined and caught by the shortstop. Now we're going to have to roll for a double play. And a 3 with a runner at second base. That may be a double play. You may whip it to the second baseman, Randall, for a double play. So runner on second, line to the shortstop. 2 and 3 is a double play. We roll the 3, and Munson is doubled off second, and that ends the inning. So it's a double play, line drive to the shortstop, Hara, who whips it to Randall, and they surprise Munson. Stumbling getting back. So it's a line out, and it's going to be a line out to the shortstop. That's 1 out, and then he throws it to the second baseman. That's 2 outs, and the runner is out. And I see. No, he's out at I see what happened. He's out. Yeah. There you go. So that retires the side. Crazy exciting play. Line drive by Chris Chambliss with Munson at second. And Munson is doubled off. All right, so it's going to be Tommy Grieve against Grant Jackson. Let me make sure I see where the batters stand. I mean, where the pitchers stand in terms of batters faced right now. Okay, so they're both, Bassick still can go another batter, and Grant Jackson is fatigued at this point. So he's fatigued, so we're going to move forward on this. Let me look and see. It was Tidrow and Jackson in this game, and for the Rangers, it was Bassick and Turco. So we're going to have to move to the next game to see if there's any other pitchers that I can use. I don't know who the pitchers they were using are. Grant Jackson looks in for the sign against Tommy Grieve. Tommy Grieve had good home run power in 76 with 20. That's a 4-1, and against a righty, that's a star line. That's going to be good for the pitcher for the Yankees. That's a fly ball, right field. On the run is Munson, and he makes the catch. You don't expect that from Munson. He's a terrible outfielder. Rated a 2. Actually, I believe he's rated a 2. Let me see. No, he's rated a 1. He's horrific fielder in right field. Of course, he is more than competent at catcher, and that's his regular position. But he had some. I think he had some injury issues. They wanted his bat in the lineup, so that's why he's playing right field. All right, so it's Lenny Randall now with 1 out. Oh, let's try that again. It's a foul ball, a souvenir for a lucky fan. That's a 6-3, and that's a hit by pitch, a 9 plus an 11. Oh, that's above, so that doesn't work. Pitch to the swing from Randall. It's a 3-5er, and that's chopped to third. And Nettles better hurry. Crashes on it. Bare hands, throw to first, low, scoop by Chambliss, and in time. And Randall doesn't like it. Not happy. He's asking his first base coach, and his first base coach is kind of giving him the cold shoulder, saying, hey, come on now. You're out. Just accept it. Get back to the dugout. All right, Jimmy Sundberg with 2 outs. Grant Jackson is fatigued now, 66. That's a potential K at 16. He's not going to be a K, so we're rolling off Sundberg. It's a 4-5er, and that's going to be driven in the gap. Sundberg splits White and Rivers for the second time today, and that's a 2-out double. That puts the go-ahead run at second base in Jim Sundberg. Not going to pinch run for him, since I really don't know this team very well. And they're not making many changes in 1976. I mean, they don't do that a lot. Let's go to the next game, see if there's another catcher I can bring in if I try to pinch run. Let's go to the Sunday game, July 18th. And to go see who's the catcher the following day. Sundberg again. Holy smokes. The first game was a doubleheader. The first game of this series was a doubleheader. Reed, Benitez, Fregosi. Jim Fregosi's on this team in '76. Jim Fregosi was one of those that the Mets acquired when they gave up the rights to Nolan Ryan. Yes, believe it or not, Jim Fregosi, useless for maybe the top pitcher, one of the top 10 pitchers of all time. I've always wanted to replay the '73 World Series in which the Mets lost in 7 games with Nolan Ryan on the Mets, with Nolan Ryan getting 2 starts on the Mets. I can guarantee the Mets would have won that series. Jim Fregosi, terrible. All right, so I don't see anybody here. So you know what? I am going to go back just because this game is an extra innings, and I have to give it. I mean, we've gone long already, so I might as well. Do a little bit of extra research. The extra 30 seconds or 40 seconds that it takes to go back to game. The Thursday, there was a doubleheader on Thursday. There was a doubleheader on Thursday, a Friday game, a Saturday game, and a Sunday game. It's 5 games at Arlington Stadium. And I believe in that second game, they should use a second catcher. Because there's 2 outs. And Moats is up. So I don't, let me just check and see. Wow. Don't tell me that Sunbird caught both games of a doubleheader. No way. No way. No way Sunbird caught both games of a doubleheader. Let me go to the first game of the doubleheader. You'd never see that today. You'd never see a catcher catch both games of a doubleheader. Now they don't even catch a night game, before a day game. Like in the next day game, you won't see the same catcher because he was up all night. Oh, Bill Fahey catches the first game. Okay, Bill. Danny Thompson. Danny Thompson's on this team. Jim Fregosi's a 3. Let's see Danny Thompson. Let's see if I have Danny Thompson's card in here. Oh, Juan Benitez is good. He's a 3 as well. Danny Thompson. I don't know if I have Danny. I wonder if Danny Thompson played with another team. That's why he's not in here. He either had very, very few at-bats, or he ended the season with another team. And I can find that out by clicking on him. I could bring in Benitez to run, and then I could bring in Fahey. Do I have Fahey lying around here? Let me see. I haven't seen Fahey. Stan Perzanowski, John Ellis, Juan Benitez, Len Barker, Steve Hargan, Umbarger, as they like to know in a while. Lahoud, Nelson Bryles, Foucault, Bill Fahey's there. All right, so I got Fahey as a catcher. I could bring Benitez as a pinch runner and put him in center field and replacing Moats. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in – I'm going to make I usually don't do this, but because this is already an extra inning game and I want to make it as realistic as possible, I'm going to bring in Benitez to pinch run. And then we're going to I'm going to click on Tom. I'm going to find out the story behind Thompson. Thompson, let me click on him. All right, yeah. Thompson was traded started off with Minnesota. So for me to have Thompson, I got to grab Minnesota, and I have Minnesota behind me. It's not like I don't have them available. But we're not going to use Thompson right now, and we are going to keep Benitez in the game in center field. That's going to be interesting. We're going to put him there and bat him in the 8th spot. And in the first spot, we're going to put in Bill Fahey, the new catcher. And Fahey is going to be a 3 and a 0. All right, so Grant Jackson, who I believe is fatigued at this point, and the lefty, you know what? We got a lefty in there. Let's bring in a pinch hitter as well. Let's really get crazy. Let's get nuts. Let's go crazy. Let's throw caution to the wind and bring in a pinch hitter. I'm going to bring in Jim Fregosi to pinch hit. How's that? Jim Fregosi. Making a lot of changes here. Jim Fregosi comes into pinch hit. He's a righty versus the lefty Grant Jackson. Here goes. Jackson is fatigued at this point. 2 outs. Bottom of the 10th. The winning run is at second base. This is a potential walk-off game-winning hit opportunity for Jim Fregosi. He's a first baseman, third baseman, terrible third baseman. At first base, he holds his own. Batted .233 with 2 home runs and 133 at-bats. Played in 60 games, which is about a third of the season. Well, it's a little bit more third of the season. Here's a pitch 55 off of Jackson, and that's going to be against a righty. It's a walk plus. Walk plus against a lefty pitcher is going to be a 25. We roll a 10. That's ball 4. Fregosi walks first and second. And that means nothing because really the runner that means something is the one at base. But now it's the righty Gene Clines. Here goes. Gene Clines. It's a 6-3. That's a potential hit by pitch. It's a +9. And it's a 15 roll. He gets plunked. Clines gets plunked, loading the bases. And now it's Mike Hargrove. And we're going to bring in Sparky Lau. We must bring in Sparky Lau at this point. Although I hate to do it. Simply because Sparky's like one of my last pitchers. Let me see who I have in the bullpen here. I have a starter, Doyle Alexander, but I don't know that Doyle Alexander relieved at all. Because he's in the regular rotation as a starter, so I don't know that he relieved. This is where the game really – oh, he does have a relief appearance. So he could potentially come in and relieve. And you know what? He's available. He's not tired, so I'm going to bring him in if I need him. All right, so then I am going to bring in Lyle. Bring in Sparky Lau here. Sparky Lau was the closer for the Yankees in '76. I mean, he is the guy, the go-to guy. So Sparky Lau's in the game. A lot of changes that are coming in there. All right, Sparky Lau's in the game. Got one more pitcher after Lyle. It's a 5-5 game. It's the bottom of the 10th. Bases are loaded for the Texas Rangers in Arlington Stadium. Beniquez is at third. He's got good speed. Fregosi can hold his own, and Clines as well. All we need is that one run at third base for the ball game. Mike Hargrove batted .287. So this is the guy you want up in this situation. Probably the best batting average on the Texas Rangers. Mike Hargrove is a left-handed batter known as the human rain delay because of all the time that he takes to get in there. I remember him playing with his batting gloves. And the story has it that he created his own – he had an issue with his thumb, so he created his own batting gloves. And he would adjust them to protect his thumb every time he would bat. He would get into the box. So Sparky Lau is on the mound taking his warm-up pitches, and he's ready to roll now. And he looks in to Healy for the sign. And he sets and deals. That's a 31. And that's a potential strikeout, which is what we want to see. We roll a 9. And that's strike 3. And he blows one by. Blows the slider by Hargrove and strikes out Hargrove to end the inning. And the Texas Rangers fail to really capitalize on a bases loaded situation. And we go to the top of the 11th. So some changes we're going to make now on the field. At catcher, we're going to get Bill Fahey. Now, hold on a second. Let me get it's going to be Beniquez in center field. And then Fahey. Let's see if the PC game gets everything right. I'm going to put Fahey at catcher. Let's see if it figures out where everybody's batting, or I have to do that. Let me look very quickly. Fahey is in the he's in the leadoff spot, and Beniquez is in the 9th spot. Exactly the way I wanted it. Wow, perfect. Okay, so this is a great game. With the PC game for replay baseball, it's really user friendly. You just one click and you get every play. All right, so it's going to be the pitcher, Bassick, versus Nettles. And Bassick is still in there, and Bassick has at least two more batters. One more batter, I believe. This is his 10th and the 11th. So he has two more batters before he has to be replaced. So we're going to make some changes here quickly. We're going to put Fahey to lead off, and Benitez in the 9th spot. And I put him on top of my pitcher so I remember, because otherwise I'll forget to make these changes, and I'll be playing with no center fielder. So I got to develop little tricks, little cues, if you will, to remind myself. All right, so Greg Nettles facing Bassick. That's a 1-4, and that's a range play. Range play off Nettles' card, so we're going to get that green die. Green die's a 2, so that's probably a catch, a 6-5, and that's a line out to right field. Burrows in right field is a 2, so he just gets to that one. A ball that he lines into the corner and hooks away from Burrows, but he chases it down. Got a good jump on it and makes the outs. So it's an L9er. Line out to right field. And it's going to be Fran Healy. That's a 4-3 is a potential K, and 11 versus a righty is a K. So Bassick rings up Healy, 2 outs, and it's Juan Bernhardt. Bernhardt is having quite a day. Let me look at the box score. Bernhardt, he's got 2 hits today, batting .500 on the season. This is his first appearance in 1976, and it happened Saturday, July 17th. The Yanks are 44-40. Really having a time with the Rangers here. Rangers are giving them a run for their money for sure. So on this third batter, Bassick is going to be fatigued now, but he's not going to get pulled. We're going to still face Bernhardt. That's a 3-6er, and versus a righty, that's a ground ball and throw into center field for a base hit. So back right up past the pitcher into center field. Benitez plays it in, gets it to Hara. And that's the third hit of the game for Bernhardt. So he's batting .350 on the season, I believe now. Let me double check that. Oh, no, he can't bat .350. He's batting, let's see, just for the fun, 600 on the season. All right, Alomar. And Bernhardt doesn't have the ability to steal at all. So again, here goes the pitch from Bassick. It's a 2-5er, and that's wild. And a 14 is not going to be. It's going to be a failed attempt. So we're rolling. That's a foul ball. Here goes again off the pitcher's card. It's a 6-6, and against a righty, he's batting lefty, so it's a blank. Oh no, wait a second. 6-6 is a double question mark, and 11. And versus a left-handed batter, that's a star line. Batting lefty, star line. And we're going to roll. This could turn into a double play. A 3 is a ground ball to the shortstop. Alomar is a 1. It's a -1, so it's a 0. It's a +1, but then there's a -1 out there as well. So there's going to be no attempt for a double play, but it's 2 outs anyway. So I'm worried. I don't need any of that. Okay, so it was a 3. It's going to be a chop to short. Hara up with it, fires to first, gets his man, and that retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 11th. Let's try to speed up this game a little bit. It's Sparky Lyle in there against Jeff Burrows. Here's the pitch. It's a 5-1. It's a potential strikeout. 18 won't be a strikeout, so we're rolling off Burrows, a 1-2. And that's a comebacker to Lyle. Feels his position. Throws out Burrows 1-3, 1 up, 1 down. Try to start speeding this up a little bit. It's going to be a 2-hour stream. 4-5er against a lefty. That's a K+, and that's a strikeout. So Howell down swinging. And Toby Hara. 5-5. That's a potential home run. We rolled a 7 against a righty. 1-14. So we're rolling off Hara's home run, but against a lefty, it's a 9er. So this could be the ball game. Hara connects for 1 and drives 1. I think he drives 1. Let's see what happens. He may drive 1. We don't know for sure yet. We don't know anything for sure. 5-5 is a home run question mark. The 7 against a right-handed batter is 1-14, so that's within that. So it's definitely a home run attempt by Hara with a new roll. So here's the roll. If we roll a 1-9, the ball game's over. That's a deep drive to the left field. If we roll a 9, otherwise it could be anything. And that's a deep drive to left field. Back goes White to the track, to the wall, looks up, gone. Walk off, game winner. Toby Hara, the shortstop, drives a wild slider deep into the left field seats, and the Texas Rangers win it in 11 by a score of 6-5. Holy smokes, what a way to end the game. So Lyle's going to take the loss on this one. Lyle gets the loss. He's 2-4. Alomar is the MVP of this game. I don't know why. Let's look and see what Alomar did in this game. We had 3 RBIs. That's why. Alomar had 3 RBIs in this game. I don't know how I didn't notice that. And then Mike Bassick gets the win. He's 1-2 now. Yankees fall to 44-41, while the Rangers improve their record to 39-47. And let's look at the box score. The final line score for the teams are the Yankees 5 runs, 10 hits, no errors. Rangers 6 runs, 14 hits, and no errors. Yankee pitching just wasn't there today, man. They gave up a lot of hits. The Yankees had a 4-0 lead in the bottom of the fourth, but then the Rangers scored 2, and then 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth. They tied it up, and they took the lead in the 6th inning. Yankees came back in the top of the 7th. It was a seesaw battle of a game. And it with one in the top of the 7th to tie it up. And it was a tie game until the bottom of the 11th with 2 outs when Toby Hara came to the plate. And swung on, that's a deep drive to left field. Back goes White to the track, to the wall. That's gone. Rangers win it by a score of 6-5. That was the replay of Toby Hara's at bat in the bottom of the 11th inning. And that's the ball game. So this is CP Cards and Dice saying thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed the Crisis Baseball late show. Here in Texas, it's going to be 3 a.m. It's 2:54 a.m. We may play another one after this, but I don't know that we're going to stream it live. Please subscribe. Please like. This is your home for tutorials and strategy and player profiles, history, reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, which sometimes happens, unboxings. I get stuff and I want to share it with all you, and I share the tricks of our trade, and so we can learn from each other. This game is really a lot of fun. I love inside pitch baseball. It has all the seasons that I really like. It has all the 70s seasons, and it has a lot of the 80s seasons as well. It just doesn't have all of them on PC. I'm replaying the 87 Mets, and I have to go with Stratomatic because Replay Baseball PC game doesn't have the 87 season. So there's certain seasons it doesn't have, but hey, it's a fun game. The cards are beautiful. They're easy to read. My eyesight is not that great, so these cards are super duper easy to read. The numbers are very, very large, so I'm really happy with that. So I have fun doing it, and it makes me focus because it has all the grids, the matrix, and I have to look on the matrix and carefully, and I'm careful. I get practice in being careful. And that's it. That's the ball game. This is CP Cards and Dice saying follow all the recommendations of your local health department, the National CDC, Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta. They talk about wearing a mask when you go out, stay away 6 feet away from everybody, wash your hands as much as possible, and stay home. Stay home if you can. And if you can't, just follow all the directives, all the orders of the local governors and so forth. Hopefully you don't live in a state where they're saying that it's a hoax. There's some states that haven't taken action until just this week, I think. The Atlanta governor was saying that he wasn't aware that you can be a carrier and not show symptoms. And that's pretty amazing because anybody in middle school or even elementary school knows that the incubation period is 1 to 14 days for this virus, and the numbers are going up right now. We have not peaked, so you're going to be watching and rolling baseball for at least another month, 6 weeks, according to some experts, at least. So get comfortable in your house, set up your cards, get everything going, buy a couple of things online, walk ride your bike, and we should be okay. And wash your hands as much as possible. Avoid the mail. Mail is dangerous. 72 hours. You have to spray it down or wipe it down with a wipe, with a Clorox wipe. And if you do touch it, make sure you wash your hands immediately after that. And this is CP Cards and Dice, your friendly neighborhood tabletop gamer, saying thanks for stopping by. Remember, we're broadcasting from San Antonio, Texas, and today we're playing Inside Pitch Baseball. All right, take care, guys, and I wish you all the best. We'll be back most likely tomorrow. So long.